All right, y'all. Good morning. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? This was me showing you guys, giving you time to come in, start looking at what we're working on today. I think that I was able to put the things that we're selling. I started off with the books and the stickers, and I think I got that attached to the show. Okay, that's for those people that's doing whatnot. But I did put an email in, you guys, and inquire about the books 1 and 2 audiobook albums. I don't know at this time, but what I do know is I'm not supposed to, push you guys into another arena like my website or whatnot. I know you can purchase it there. I took it off the website. I think I'm going to take it and put it on one of the digital platforms like TuneCore, CD Baby, or something like that, and put it out in chapters. And you guys go download it for maybe, $1 or $2 to support. And I'll get those funds later, and we can add that to maybe the meter, the short and long-term goal meter. Okay, so today we're going to be working on clip 2. Give me a second to go pick that up. Clip 2. Okay, so clip 2. What's clip 2 about? Clip 2 is about the Reaper. It's basically me bringing something to the team. And, it's me showing you guys that, it's bigger than just human, okay? So yesterday, we're going to do recaps on everything. We're going to have to do that every day, a little bit faster every day until you guys get used to what it is that we're doing over here on this end. Yes, we do put in. Here we go. Said the light source is better if it's on top of you. There we go. So the light source is on top of me now. Turn that toward me a little bit so you guys can see me. There we go. There we go. We're looking professional now, right? So what are we doing today? What are we doing today? Turn this down a little bit. Okay, we already got that down. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the characters. I might run through those guys again. I do so love doing that. And we know here at Flux Continuum, we start with Aquarius and we end with Capricorn, all right? Because Capricorn pretty much comes at the end of the year. What else? So yesterday we started off with Dr. Afanasi Sidorov, okay? And this is Dr. Afanasi Sidorov. Let's see, can I make that a little higher for you guys so you can get the full? There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so Dr. Afanasi Sidorov, again, we know I made the name up. I got it off Google. We looked up Russian first name, Russian last name, and I came up with that. So Dr. Afanasi Sidorov, right? He is the guy who believes that he's the one that started everything. He believes it's his fault that everything changes so drastically when it came to Earth and the heroes that, the heroes that finally come to. So what we're doing today is we're going to do subchapter 2. So I'm just going to go with clip 1, clip 2, clip 3, and since we just started, we only did clip 1. Today we're going to do clip 2, and clip 2 is going to be about the Reaper. And the reason I jumped from human to Reaper is to show you guys the vastness and how far we're going to do sci-fi in these 2 books. And in book 3, because wow, we're on book 5 now, but we do have books 1, 2, and 3 already out. They're published. They're $50 on the Whatnot site, 55 I think to be exact, $55, and that's a bundle. Other than that, you get book 1. Some people like to start off, hey, let's see where this book is going. Let's see what it's about. So book 1 is 20, book 2 is 20, book 3, I believe is 25, if not 30. So yeah, it's 25. So, we bundle that up for $55 and get it to you ASAP, or within 48 hours, it will be mailed to you. Now, what's so great about FLUX? Well, FLUX is the acronym. It stands for First Line of Defense for Unprecedented Extremes. What's going on, love?
I was making sure I see.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So again, y'all, that's my wife. She's part of the crew, CEO in the house. Shout out, CEO. She was making sure that I didn't have technical difficulties, because we're on episode 15, and believe it or not, I have done a lot of work with this software, trying to get it up to date. Trying to also ensure that you guys can see and hear me clearly, and it's not too much echo and all that, because again, we have 4 sites. Correction, we have 6 sites being streamed to: Whatnot, YouTube, Facebook, and then we have LinkedIn, X, Twitter, right, and Instagram. So we're streaming to all of these platforms through this streaming called StreamYard. That's what I use, okay? And then Whatnot actually plugs in Facebook and YouTube. So caveat for, Whatnot, because again, Facebook, I think more people use that, or more people who, let's say, into the buying, use Facebook and YouTube, because again, we're the people who spend money, right? All right, so lately what I've been doing, I went through all of the characters and gave you guys some background on each one. We'll go ahead and start with them real quick and get that out the way. And then we'll get into clip 2. I'll do the intro in clip 2. And then we'll get to what, the motivation behind clip 2 and all of that, and why the Reaper is being brought to you guys, and the Reaper skill set, the level that this guy is, because he's more of just human level. He's ethereal, and ethereal. When I use the term ethereal, it's greater than celestial. So it's bigger than the universe, or it's greater than the universe. The ethereal plane is where everything else exists. The universe is a containment, if you will. It contains everything that's imprisoned, if you will. That's kind of what the universe is. As you read the story of Flux, you'll basically see that the reason man was put into the universe, and the reason that it says we're born into sin, is because the universe is made up of sin. It's basically chaos, right? Anytime you ever listen to the what do you call them, like the astrologists or the astronomers, the space people. I don't know what space people are called. The scientists that study, space and stuff. They always tell you how chaotic space is. We happen to be in a stable environment, even though it's kind of like it can be chaotic too, because at any time one of the asteroids could fall out of its orbit or whatever and slam into our planet. We can have runaway planets out there, comets or whatever. At any time we could be hit, but we live in a stable orbit with the Earth around the sun, so that's better, right? And out there in space, it's chaotic. Everything is what it is. We're protected not only with the asteroid belt. I like to call it the astro zodiac alignment. I believe that our Earth is put in something, because we can look up every day of the night all year, and we can see all of our constellations. So that tells me that even though we're orbiting every day around the sun, there's something else that's protecting us from Lord knows what else is out there, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and go through. This is Stratus. All right, and the reason I go through the characters, y'all, because these are the characters you'll find. This is Den Han. I don't know all the characters. Maybe I shouldn't be giving you all that because I already went through this once, and I don't actually know everything about every character. But let's see what I can do. Den Han, okay, he's from Asia, China to be exact. Ningbo, China. That's where Stratus is from. He is the guardian or the hero of Aquarius. So for all you Aquarians out there, this is your hero. This is the guy that you empowered. And I'll explain all of that probably in book maybe 10. Um, we people who are born under a certain influence or a certain zodiac sign, constellation, the influence of that constellation, and this is all sci-fi, okay, y'all. This isn't the chakra. This isn't a spiritual level. This is just me using some of the stuff we've heard, and I sci-fied it all up and put into one big story. But why change something when it's already so familiar to so many people? So Aquarius, we already know about the zodiac signs, so I didn't change the zodiac signs or anything. I just made characters based off the zodiac sign and the constellation. Okay, so Dan Han is the hero of Aquarius. He protects all you guys out there that consider yourselves Aquarians. And you guys do that from January 20th to February 18th. Okay? So anyway, Dan Han is from East Ningbo, China, and that's on Earth. And the reason I make sure people know where we're going and where we're at is because some heroes are not from Earth. All right? And yeah, we're gonna run through these, y'all, because I've already done a few recaps, and I don't want to do recaps every day, but I do want you guys to know who we're referencing and the heroes, and get used to following your actual zodiac character. So this is Karma, okay? And Karma doesn't have. She's an Alpha Guardian, so she's from another planet called Pisces. Yes, she's from another planet called Pisces, and she is the only guardian that has um, a dual angelic celestial. That's where she gets her power from. So her mother and her father, Stygian and Harmony, um, once they left the earthly realm, they became a unified being. And when she hears her parents, she hears a male and female voice. So those are kind of, and she's pure magic. She's made out of magic. When she used magic, her body doesn't she doesn't have to deal with the repercussions that others do when they use magic, because she's composed of pure magic. That's the only way a demon and an angel can have a child, right? Magic. Okay. Who else we got? This is Ember. Ember, right? Like, the small ember of fire that's in the coals. This is Ember, and she represents Aries. Um, she is the guardian of Aries. Now, believe it or not, she's Latina, okay, because I believe in diversity, and you get a lot of that when you're in the military. And we already talked about, my military career and whatnot. So she's from Manas, it's Brazil area, right? It's north of Brazil. I've been to Panama, so I was looking for Latina influence, and correction, Ember became that influence for me. Okay, she's the child of the flame. She has a weapon. It's a chain machete, and it's kind of drawn from where she is in Manaus, right? Moving around the Amazon jungles and whatnot, you have to deal with a lot of foliage, and you need a machete. So when she was hit with the orb, the machete basically went with her, and it was imbued with divine-like abilities. Okay, so she's the harbinger of Kendall. She represents the Aries. She's your guardian. Um, Show your guardian some love. Everybody out there, I'm going to run through these. These are not the stickers, but your guardian is on the sticker. So that's the $5 thing. Make sure you guys come out and get your stickers. They're for $5, and you can have that shipped to you in less than 48 hours. Well, I can't say less than 48 hours. It will be shipped to you within 48 hours. Okay, it will leave my postal annex. Now we have Taurus. This is Pulse, right? He's the representation for Taurus. He's the paladin, all right? He was a cop in Hawaii, right? I've been to Guam. So Guam was too small though to back up the story that Pulse in his human form, which is Jonathan Watson. I had a friend named John. He used to stay in El Paso on the far east side, and yeah. So John, I just changed his name to Jonathan, but I still kept his last name Watson. So John, yeah, this is the character that I built off you. And John was stern. I don't think he was an actual tourist, but he was firm in his beliefs, and I'm not gonna say he was bullheaded, but he was adamant about whatever he said. So again, I took those qualities and I put that into Post because why? He represents the bull, which means you know how we look at bulls, right? So he's an electromagnetic guy. That's the kind of abilities he has and whatnot, right? He can teleport. He can fly nearly the speed of light. He's a beat. You know what I mean? He's a bad butt. You know what I mean? I don't want to use profanity, but he is that dude, right? Um, he's not a lightweight. I'm just telling you like that. So um, and all his powers. And let's go back to and it's just to compare him. Okay, no, we won't even do that. That's not what today is about. We'll do that on his day. All right. So this is Gemini's representative. This is Gemini's representative. These two are considered the twins. Okay, or they represent the twins. Um, Even if you're a Gemini and you don't have a twin, they tend to say that you have a twin in your body because you're like an extreme person. You always have a second personality or something. But I believe we all have that. You know what I mean? You got that get up and go, or you got that hey, I don't feel like doing it today type thing. All right. So Asita is the angel of Gemini. She's an artificial intelligence, and Adam, this is Adam. His name is Jackson Swade. I based this character off myself. He's an American black man from Denver, or he's on his way to Denver. And I based this character, even though I'm a Pisces, y'all. My birthday is February 29th. It comes every 4 years. So you guys, I know you missed it this year. So make sure you guys, y'all come in next year in the next 4 years. Wow. I'll be 56 when I have another birthday. That's crazy, right? So if you looked at my age now, I'll be 13. So my birthday comes every 4 years. 13 times 4 is 52. I would have to believe that. I have to believe that, right? Because that's the way it works. All right. So anyway, Asita is an artificial intelligence. Adam, however, is the young man who was supposed to get the abilities. But because there's an AI and there's a human, the brain patterns, right, or the brain waves, the orb couldn't determine who was what, okay, or who was the actual entity, or who was the actual biological brainwave. So it couldn't tell the difference, and Asita ended up getting in the way. So what happened is Asita ends up with the powers, but she has no control over anything. Adam has the actual powers though, because he's the human host, and he's her host, even though she has been subjected, or basically she no longer is connect. Well, I won't say connected, but she's not defined by our technology anymore. So her essence, if you will, or her computer code has been moved from wherever they built her at. And I don't want to tell you guys that. I know where they built her at. Okay, they built her at the they call it CERN. It's uh, the Hadron Collider. Okay, that's where she was, the Hadron Collider, and so her code has been removed from there and put into the orb. So now she's free of technology. That's why she's like a technological god, because she no longer is inhibited by Earth technology. So anyway, she was granted the abilities, but Adam is the one who actually uses them. She basically projects what he needs to do into his brain. We humans, we can't like actually know what subatomic particles we moving around to alter molecular structure, but since the AI can do it, that's what she is for him. She's his aid, his help, his administrator. That's kind of what she told the angelic celestial, that I'm his administrator. I assist the user. That's what she told him. Okay, so that's Adam, and they represent Gemini, right? Two different minds in one form. You know what it is, right? All right. So This is Cancer's, okay? And Cancer is the of Lord Gravity. That's what they call him. Supreme in the insectum kingdom, the word supreme means God. It's the closest word they have to the word God. Look caveats that I throw out, Gravity is actually on his planet, and the name of his planet is Cancer. Okay, so his real name is Glurt, right? And he became Gravity after Glurt was hit with the orb, because on his planet he was hit with an orb too, and he became Gravitate, which technically the way I like to do in the flux continuum, there are words that humans decide to add their own whatever to, right? So we changed the word gravitate to gravity. Yeah. So in the cosmos, people use the term gravitate when they reference gravity. But we're on Earth. We do kind of what we want to. We humans, right? We believe we got all the ingenuity and we're the most supreme beings. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So since we think like that, we change the word gravitate to gravity. Or whoever, and I don't know, I don't want to say Thomas Edison and some whoever came up with the formula for gravity. I don't know if it was Thomas Edison. I don't know who it was, okay? Because I didn't look it up. But they got the word wrong. That's basically what I'm saying, okay? He does control and manipulate gravity, though. And he's basically a dictator. That's why he's the Lord of Cancer. He's more of a dictator. He, do as I say. And on his planet, it's more survival of the fittest. So you guys got to look at that and be like, wow, right? That it's the insect kingdom, right? Praying mantis eat spiders, but if a spider can get a hold to the praying mantis is gone. So it's like that. What else? All right, Shift. Shift is the shepherd of Leo. She's I consider her an essence shifter. And an essence shifter is a being that can basically copy you down to the DNA molecule or the DNA strand. Which means that if you have an ability, they have an ability. She can become more like most she's the assassin of the group. She's the like the ninja out of the group, because I mean, when she changes into you, she changes into you. She has your DNA strand. Um, Now she can also not necessarily read minds, but you can hold her back by not allowing her to read your mind. Okay, because she has access to your DNA strand, she has access to your thought patterns and stuff. So she can almost pretty much guess how you, unless you willfully go out your way to stop her. Now, if you're on your deathbed or something, and you fighting for your life, then you don't have time to protect your mind, and she's able to co-opt stuff that's in your brain, like, and she can get it fast too. So in like 5 seconds, she can pretty much span your lifetime and then go through all the memories at her leisure. If you kind of, remember, these guys are cosmic in nature. All right, that was Shift. This is Nexa. She is the second Alpha Guardian. All my Alpha Guardians have been living about 1,000+ years. She's been living the longest, like 1,400 years. She's dislodged from time. Nexa is considered the guardian of the multiverse. Her tag is she saved the multiverse more than any other in existence. And again, the black woman, that's the black woman. She represents the maiden. She doesn't have power like some of the other guys. She has a weapons cache, but that weapons cache, with the proper authorization, she can be imbued with power as great as any of the other guardians. Okay, so she's not a slouch. It's just that she has to fight you, and this is something I got from the military. Least force possible. She has to fight you with the least force possible. Like if you have a blade, she has to fight you with a blade. She can't have a gun if you don't have a gun. Now, if you have a 9mm which shoots matter propelled weapons, then she can have a laser gun. Okay, so her weapon can be more powerful than yours, but she still has to fight you at that level. That's basically what I'm saying, okay? All right, this is Intech. This is the senior order. He represents Libra. He, the balance, the scales. He is the senior order. He was the second one to, how would you say? He was the second one. Basically, Adam, remember the Adam, the Gemini? He was supposed to get the weapon or get the leadership. And those are the quantum shields on his shoulders. He was supposed to get those. But because he had two brain patterns, the orb couldn't determine, so leadership was passed on to Intech, which is balance, right? The scales. So Intech is he has quantum quartz bands. He can make any information, or he can cop any information, and he can create any weapon or tool he needs with his quantum bands. He can also, under extreme conditions, he can cover himself in his quantum bands, which is called the negation. Basically, when he's in the negation, he's nigh omnipotent. That means he can look at the earth and see that the earth needs to be fixed because of maybe they call it like global warming, right? We got a hole in the ozone layer. He knows how to fix that. The problem is the longer he stays um, within the negation, the quicker he loses his human will, if you will. The human soul, the, the humanity, let's call it what it is. It's the humanity. To be empathetic, to see life and to want the better for other people, those type of things. And then we'll become nuisance, if you will. Um, as long as he's in the negation, it's about what's necessary for the big picture. So he's into the big picture at that time, and during that time when he's in the negation, humans we're infinitesimal, we're minute in the big scheme of things. So even though we have our own thing we're supposed to do with God, and our own world, our own biblical beliefs and whatnot. Well, he's a cosmic being. So when he's immersed in the negation, it's kind of like what's in the best interest of the universe, not what's in the best interest of man. It's just something I wanted to throw out there. Okay. All right, y'all. Next is Friction. She represents for Scorpio. She is, believe it or not, she lives here in El Paso with me. She lives on the east side, and she goes to America's High School. And this is where I retired from the military. So again, caveats from some of the places I've been. This is where I retired at. Friction is from here. She's 17 years old, but she looks 23. That's because her cyanotech armor, it aged her up to her prime. Okay? It can either age you down, like if you're 60 years old, it might age you down to like 35. I don't know. But she's 17, so it aged her up to like 23, to her peak. It attempts to get you as close as it can to your peak performance or your peak physical prowess. She has super speed. I'm not going to tell you about the battle she did to get her trilithium blades. You guys can read that in the story. What else? Okay, that's about it. Okay, so I mean, because again, this is just a quick recap. All right, y'all. This is the third Alpha Guardian. His name is Fame. Yes, he's 1,000+ years old. He's half dragon, half elemental. Um, he's the heir to Sagittarius, and the reason he's not the defender or some type of defender, he is the heir though, is because he hasn't taken over the throne, Sagittarius. So during the Great Flood in the Third Age of Man, I think that's what I wrote. The Third Age of Man. There was a great flood. We all know it. Noah's Ark and the flood. Well, that was a metaphysical flood at the same time, and that washed all the supernatural from Earth. All of that supernatural, the gods, Zeus, all of those guys, Ra, all of them, vampires, banshees, all those were washed up into the shores of Sagittarius. Now, the gods who used to be in charge and whatnot, they attacked his father and his mother, they killed them, and they threw their bodies to the Leviathan that encircled Sagittarius. That's why the gods and all the supernatural can't leave Sagittarius, because there's a humongous Leviathan circling, and they don't live on planets around the omniversal star. Alpha Sagittarii. No, they actually live on little islands. So imagine islands orbiting a star. So it's kind of like that. And the Leviathan swims in all the space ripples. You know, it's like space water almost. It's kind of how I envisioned it. Anyway, he is extremely powerful. Um, remember he's half dragon, and if you look at dragons from an American perspective, they're the bad guys. They come in, they burn all the medieval time, yada yada yada. But if you look at it from the Asian perspective, there's so much not joy, but not compassion, appreciation for the dragon. So dragons are mythical beings who are like the peak of evolution, if you will, when it comes to animals. So when it comes to dragons, dragons are mythical beings that are like they can make almost anything happen, right? So he's kind of like that because he's half dragon. So he's extremely powerful, as you can see. Um, he can't fly, okay, but he has a weapon, and that weapon is called gloom. It's basically his father's tooth. So when the bad guys, the gods or whatever, right, attacked, they knocked out his father's tooth, which he uses it like a sword or a bow and arrow, basically, y'all. And when he has it sheathed, he can manifest fire wings, right? And this gives his half dragon mentality. It allows him the freedom of flight. So that's kind of how he's able to fly. So sometimes you'll see Fame without his wings, all right, because he manifests those through that weapon known as gloom. And this is Capricorn. This is Phase. This is Dr. Afanasi Sidorov from Clip 01 yesterday. This is the young man, right? I know he's Russian, but I have to constantly put this out. There's diversity in my military career. I've been all over the place. And I've been writing the book since 2011. So we wasn't going through what we're going through today when I wrote this, okay? So Dr. Afanasi Sidorov is the guy who believes that he's the one responsible. He caused everything that's going to happen from book 1 all the way to book 12. He in his heart he believes it's his fault. He opened the portal. He wanted to do the portal. What do you call it? The probe. He pushed the he who wanted to do the test in outer space, right? How to bend space and time. He wanted to put a probe on the other side of the universe, and release all the mathematical formulas and whatnot, and see could he get a response back. But when the orb came back to our side, um, there was an accident because of some stuff that happened. I made sure I didn't tell you guys that because again, we're going through the book 1, and you will eventually run into that, and I don't want to tell you about something that we're going to go over later. All right. Now, that is my recap. All right. Phase has the ability, he's a density manipulator, and that means he can grow in size, he can harden his skin, he can become intangible, and he can get micro if he chooses to. Okay. Extremely small, like a flea or something. Okay. That brings us to, here we go. That brings us to the intro that I'm going to play. And after the intro, I'm gonna pull up the clip for the Reaper, which is clip 2. All right, here we go.
Flux. The gift of power ceremonial orbs have been activated, and man has acquired ancient power not meant for the earthly realm. Those empowered have now been thrust into a cataclysmic chain of events leading to the destruction of Earth. It has been compromised, and otherworldly realms are aware of our planet's location. The 12 must traverse time, space, alien planets, new realities, and otherworldly realms to save all of creation. The Flux Continuum. www.flux-zodiac.com at flux_chaos. of divinity. Limbo, death's domain. Ethereal realm. The ethereal realm is a place existing outside of the universal realm of space and time. A place so vast it is beyond mortal comprehension. In the most distant and hidden places, an unholy pact is made between an immortal and a true immortal. These immortal beings conspire to alter above cosmic level events occurring within the universe. They conspire to reshape the mortal realm and the countless otherworldly realities existing throughout space. However, there is only one universe. It contains an inconceivable number of dimensions that can be accessed through frequency resonation. The universe has been contained in an ethereal substance known as quantum quartz, an indestructible cosmic crystalline matter that is utilized to contain free will. A true immortal being of incalculable power has watched mortal beings since time was created. Mortal beings must be contained within the universe, since they are beings capable of wielding free will. These mortal beings struggle to ascend past their natural instincts and must be contained within a cosmic habitation universe. Only through true spiritual enlightenment can mortals reach the ethereal plane. An infinite number of experiments have been conducted to increase enlightenment within mortals. The Reaper knows that mortals will be needed if the veil was to ever fall. He has often pondered what the outcome of this continuum will be if mortals fail to ascend. He is the personification of death and knows all that occurs within the veil, even when deceivers choose to conspire about events that should not be possible. These deceivers believe themselves hidden from prying eyes and ears, but the Reaper takes notice of this very meeting between the immortal. He watches, knowing this should not be allowed, yet he does nothing as he listens as they enact their plans to breach paradise. A group of powerful immortals have assembled to manipulate universal events. They have discovered how to force their will on the physical realm. With united intentions, these entities channel their power and cause irrevocable chaos in the physical world. Together, they are capable of breaching the quantum quartz that separates dimensions. By targeting an intersecting point within the crystalline substance, the entities exert enough force to crack the barrier. Their attack resonates in dimension SU01Q00, a place that no longer bears light. The immortals smile amongst themselves. They have given the darkness a chance at freedom. The attack will afford an omniversal star to shine through the cracks, showing the darkness the way back. All immortals desire to once again reach a place long denied to them, a planet that has been granted to lesser sentient beings wielding free will. They are known throughout the universe as man, a species which is most favored in all of existence. During the Great Flood of Earth, immortals were removed from the planet. A barrier of dimensions was put in place to keep immortals from ever entering the earthly realm again.
Okay, we're back. And all right, we back. So, as you guys heard, yeah, I'll give a shout out to my man Xavier, FDG Records, Flunk the Gift. He's the one that hits me with all the beats that you hear, playing in the background. It's just something that Whatnot said. Let's keep the people dazzled. Put a little something in their ear when you're not talking and whatnot. So again, it was like part of the class or the videos that I had to learn so that I can get better at doing what I'm doing here. Okay, so we already talked about Dr. Sidorov yesterday. Now we're going with the Reaper. And the reason I jumped from human all the way to the Reaper. Who is the Reaper? Okay, so when it first started, it said the Reaper, rings of divinity. What I want you guys to understand is there's a lot of biblical connotations in the flux continuum. So when I say rings of divinity, I'm letting you know the scale of what I'm talking about. The rings of divinity. The divinity is in my story is basically God. Okay, but I just believe that we don't. the word God doesn't sufficiently explain or categorize what our Lord and Savior is. Okay, it doesn't. You can't have a little g and be a God, like Zeus, and then call our God, our Lord and Savior, God too. And then on an earthly level, a man can call himself God because, I'm filled with melanin. I'm the peak of human proficiency. I'm a God. Okay, so God wasn't a strong enough word, so I used the divinity in the flux continuum. So the rings of divinity is the scale of what I'm saying. That's bigger than the universe. Limbo, and it says death's domain. So limbo is what death hangs out at. It's just where he hangs out at. And then it says ethereal realm. So I'm letting you know, outside the universe, we're gonna use this ball right here, okay? This is the universe, okay? The rings of divinity are out here, right? Because heaven and everything is further out in the ethereal realm. So everything outside the universe in the flux continuum is considered the ethereal realm. Everything outside of the universe. So the astro zodiac alignment and all that is within the universe. Hell, the realm of hell is in the universe. And the reason it's in the universe because he was cast down, right? So in the flux continuum, maybe I shouldn't even put this out to you guys because I'm deep when I write. When Lucifer was cast down, he okay, so I know they call it the Big Bang. So when we think of the Big Bang, we think of pow, and then there's this release of energy or power, and that begins the cosmos. No, not in the flux continuum. And because I'm writing that in book 5 right now, I can't afford to tell you guys that. It'll give you guys too much to me. But when Lucifer was cast down, the thing is, we're always moving away from heaven. The sin of man is so great, and if you heard it, it said man is one of the life forms that can practice free will. Other deities, entities, they're pretty much designed for a specific skill or a specific job that they need to do. Can they deviate? Yeah, but there's an autocorrect for them. We're an experiment of God's in my story. So there's this battle coming, book 12, right? And man has a major part to play. So as man learns what we're supposed to do, we will learn that if 98% of us, so 300 million, yeah, it's not enough. Let's say 5 billion, I don't know how many people on the planet. So if all 5 billion, and let's just say majority of us, that's why I said 98% of us, if we all think the same thing, we can manifest it. And I don't want to get into what's going on in our society right now. No, you're a single person. No, you can't manifest nothing. You don't have enough willpower, if you will. Even though we have free will, remember, we're made to be amongst each other, right? We're made to be duo dependent. Duo dependent is man and woman, right? We're made for this. So even by being duo dependent, then there's family. So we're like those little I don't want to call it wrong, but it's these little dolls, and every time you open one, it's a smaller doll limit, but it looks just like the main doll that you pull. I forgot what those kind of dolls are called. And I just watched the show not too long ago with it. I think I want to call it the Something's Apprentice. The Wizard's Apprentice, something had Nick Cage in a minute, and the young guy, and he was supposed to be, what's the guy's name? Who was the number one wizard in all of existence? He was running around with King Arthur and them. Merlin. So he's supposed to be Merlin reincarnated. All right, so the little dolls that they had, that's kind of how the universe is, okay? So we're always falling, or the universe, everything that's sin is always moving away from heaven. Okay? And then All of that is encased in time. Heaven's not encased in time. Hell is not encased in time, but it is because it's within the universe. So time just moves different in the realm of hell. So look, let's get back to the Reaper because I don't want to jump off too much, but I want you guys to understand who the Reaper is. So in all God's infinite wisdom, he created the first four. And you guys will probably get that. I think I put that in book 3. I break down the 4 horsemen of apocalypse. The first 4. The first 4 of apocalypse are. Give me a second. I got this. The first 4. Come on. Here we go. Book 3. The first 4 horsemen of apocalypse are Reaper, which is death. We look at death as we don't want to die because it's unknown to us. Well, that's not the Reaper's job. The Reaper, it just comes to scoop you up and take you where you need to go, basically back to limbo. The Reaper has so much ability. He's greater than omnipotent, okay? Because omnipotence, everybody is invulnerable now. Everybody is omnipotent. No, omnipotence means that you can move through different realms without the aid and power and all of this. Omnipotence means that you can basically, you're like a reality warper. You can create your own reality, okay? And these guys, they're like that. They can create their own realities, but that doesn't make you God's level, okay? Not the one true creator. So the horsemen were the first that were created. They will be the balance. They will be the security. They are everything, okay? So the Reaper, drought. The Reaper is the ascender of death, okay? We call him Reaper, but, well, his name is Reaper, but we humans call him Death. Same thing, though. He's one of the horsemen of apocalypse, not like in the other Marvel and all of those. I know how they look at death, but no, there's one death. There's one guy running hell, Lucifer, right? There's one horseman of apocalypse named Death, and that same Death is the same one that goes and scoop up souls that can be saved or that have a chance of being saved, kind of in the flux continuum up. And I will explain that one day. I just don't want to explain it today, how everybody is ultimately, you fall from one life to another life. Okay, I don't want to explain that today. Just want to explain these horsemen of apocalypse. So the Reaper is the ascender of death. Drought is the conveyor of famine. Victory is infallible. And conflict is the impending war. So if I'm writing and you see something says the impending war, you know I'm referencing the horseman conflict. All right. Each one of the horsemen of apocalypse are connected to one of the 7 seals. Okay, so if you crack one of the seals, the first seal, I think victory shows up. Anyway, no, I can't tell you that because it's part of some of the story later. Anyway, in book 3, I break down the horsemen of apocalypse, what they do, why they doing what they doing, and the purpose they play in this big scheme of the beginning of everything to the end of everything. Remember, that's the story Flux is. We just follow the Zodiac Guardians, okay? And the Zodiac Guardians tend to help us because you get to follow your Zodiac Guardian. They help us understand because there's a lot going on. And I don't believe a small group of heroes is going to actually go and save the entire universe. I think that's, anyway, I don't want to talk about other people's writing. I just believe that we need like an army of special people. So in Flux, it might seem like I'm getting off the subject. I'm never getting off the subject. I'm just adding people in. So remember, every harbinger that I went through earlier with the recap, they all have to go to a constellation. They have to go and get people to come back to Earth to unlock Earth. And all of those different alien life forms are going to help us fight this impending war that's coming. No pun intended, horseman. But this war that's coming, the Lords of Chaos versus the Lords of Order, everybody has to fight that. But not just the people that we go and get from the Astro Zodiac alignment. We still got to go and hit the multiverse. Then we have to hit the omniverse, and then we gonna understand what a megaverse is. That's right, y'all. We got a lot to do. So this is a complex story, y'all. Like I said, you gotta want to be a part of what I'm doing. It took me, I'm on my 13th year, I think. It took me 13 years to masterfully put this together. Love my wife's coffee. All right, so when we started off, it just basically telling you who the Reaper was. The Reaper, he lives in the ethereal realm. Basically, if you looked at it, even if you listen to what was being written or what was being narrated, the Reaper like sits outside of the universe. Remember, we're gonna use this as the universe, and he just monitors it. It's like he's in limbo. Limbo's way out here, right? What I'm doing, and he monitors, and he can go in and see what he wants to see in the universe. So hypothetically, the red dot you see, well, it's red to me. The red dot you see, when that comes on, oh, that's a soul that's getting ready to die. So I go in, I grab that, but there can be 50,000 people dying throughout the universe. Only man thinks that death is here for us. The Reaper, if you didn't hear me correctly, he monitors the universe. That's all the multiverses, all the omniverses, all of that is in one big universe. The word uni, which I mean, I understand, people came before me. I think we should have auto-corrected after a while, but uni means one. So even if I do have a universe and all the universes are connected on the planet Earth, and it's just, you know how they say there's another world right next to us, the world of the dead sometime, or they say if you vibrate at a different rhythm, but you're still on Earth. That's why people who move at super speed can run to another planet because you're still on Earth. Well, in the flux continuum, it don't work like that. That's not how it works. You don't get to just jump to another planet. It can't happen like that. So if you super speed, that means nothing in the flux continuum. Can you probably run back through time? I could rather see you running back through time than being able to vibrate into another. No. Our world isn't contingent on the rest of the planets or the rest of the Earths out of the multiverse. No. If you listen to what I said already, each one of the multiverses are influenced by one of the constellations in the Astro Zodiac alignment. So I'm letting you know that there are only 12 omniverses. And now those omniverses that are influenced by the Scorpio constellation, if you will, they might have 6 million multiverses. And the multiverses are not in the flux continuum, okay? So I have to separate the way I think and the way other people think. The multiverse isn't contingent on Willie White saying, hey, I'm gonna do my show today. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do the podcast, FLUX Vision. Or, no, my wife said we need to go grocery shopping, so let me go ahead and put this on pause, and then that's supposed to split. No, that doesn't happen. No, I don't care if the person, Hitler, I brought this up before. If Hitler wouldn't have done what he did in World War II, then somebody else would have did it. It's called an autocorrect. It doesn't matter if Hitler did it or not. If Hitler chose to deviate, then somebody else would have stepped into that place. That's called fate, destiny. It's gonna happen. So in the flux continuum, there are things that's gonna happen anyway. So I can't run whatever or vibrate here. If you notice, I even stated that each one of the characters has to go to their constellation. And if you get to that constellation and you don't see the planet, we're using Scorpio right now. So if you go to the Scorpio constellation, but you don't see the planet orbiting around the Alpha Scorpii. That's the Alpha star. It's the omniversal star in the flux continuum. All the constellations have omniversal stars, and those are stars that can be seen simultaneously from every dimension, right? It's like a pinprick. They stabilize every reality, if you will. That omniversal star, if you can't see the planet, that means you're not vibrating at the right frequency. So what you do is you vibrate at the right frequency, and I put those in the books. If you notice, I always talk about a dimensional vibration. Like the one for our planet is PU dot 432-00. So that's prime universe, 432 ohms. That's the vibration we resonate at, 00, because we're on our own axis. It's a whole thing that I got for every one of the constellations, okay? And for other worlds and other worldly realms and all types of stuff. But if you vibrate at the right frequency, then you can see that planet. If you come to Earth and you vibrate at any frequency, you're not going to see other planets. The multiverse doesn't start and end here. No. You spent off and you went and got your own space, okay? That you vibrate in that. So hypothetically, in the flux continuum, I do have something happening. I want to say in book 4 or 5, and I have to explain why all the heroes are on Mars. I have to explain that. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Tiamat, not the kaiju Tiamat, but Tiamat. It's supposed to have been a planet that came before Earth. Again, that's how much research I've been doing. So what if Tiamat didn't happen? Then we wouldn't have the asteroid belt. So there's so much research I've done, and like I said, I took some of the stuff that sounds really juicy and I put it into the flux continuum. So I'm kind of giving you insight on stuff that's out there, but it might not necessarily be true. All right. So that's why I say all of this is science fiction. All right. So now that I've explained the vibrational rhythm and how every Earth is not pincushioned to this one planet, it's not. Okay. We have our own space. All right. But can something like that happen? Can there be a pocket universe around? Yes. But are all of our planet, are all the planet Earths throughout the multiverse in the same space our planet is? No, I don't believe in that. That's the universe is way too big and too complex for us to think that. We got to get bigger, right? Our minds need to grow. So again, that's what I wrote. Anyway, we back to here. We talking about Reaper, okay? Clip 2. We're just on clip 2, right? I start off letting you know the ethereal realm is a place existing outside of the universal realm of space and time. Now remember, this is the universe. This is hell. This all of this, the multiverse. Everything's inside of the universe. So out here, outside the universe would be time. Outside of time would be like limbo, heaven, other megaverses. Okay? Other megaverses. Listen to what I'm saying. Every megaverse is not encased in time. That's right. Book 11, man, I'm gonna blow y'all mind. But we got to get there. We just on book 1 right now. I'm telling you, I got all these notes of all this stuff I gotta write. And I mean, man, if you're a sci-fi person, it just makes you like, man, why is this not a cartoon? Why? Like, it's the equivalent of like when Star Wars came out. Now, I like Star Trek. Don't get it wrong. But there's nothing like Star Wars, okay? It was epic. To me, it was ahead of its time. Well, that's how Flux is. It's ahead of its time. It's a new story being told that's ahead of its time, and I need you guys to pass the word. That's what I need. And cop some of this merch. Okay, so in the story, I have true immortals and what we call the other immortals. immortals, right? And then you have true immortals. True immortals are beings that can't die. So they're not concepts. They just can't die. So the Reaper can't die. Um, there's nothing that can kill the Reaper. Can it detain him? Can it banish him? Can it probably hold him? Yes. Cage him? Possibly. But can you kill? No. There's only one being great enough to kill death or the other four horsemen. Okay? War, pestilence, and whatever the other one is. But again, I call them something different in my book. Okay? So what the Reaper does is he watches us and he watches man. So God has an experiment going on called man. And we're so favored because, again, got to bring this up, y'all. I had a near-death experience. It's called cancer. And what I did was I took all of the stuff that goes with cancer and I kind of made it into this story. So we're talking about how the Reaper, and he's a true immortal, right? Can't die, but other immortals can die. Okay, they can be killed off, even though they can live to the end of time. And immortal only means that time doesn't affect you like it affects everybody. That's all it means in the flux continuum. Okay, so man is an experiment. So imagine being exposed to a contagion. We were exposed to a contagion in the flux continuum. That contagion is the source of sin. So imagine God created something. It had to be the weakest thing in existence. It had to be, and we are. So if you amount man to any other creature, we have to pray to God for his strength to protect us from everything else. Now you can go as far as Gravtate. Gravtate is an insectum from cancer. His skin or his shell is outside. His skeleton is outside his it's on his skin, right? I think they call it chitin. Chitin is what insects have on the outside. Crabs, right? All of that. They're protected. We're not. Our skeletons happen to be inside, but we come with something greater than most other life forms. I call it ingenuity. Okay, ingenuity means like basically we're able to build houses, right, to protect us, right? Look at how we build homes. We're able to build buildings. We're able to build spacecrafts, airplane to travel faster. When birds they fly. We can fly faster than them. Everything we do, but we're the weakest life form in existence. All right, we're the base model in the flux continuum. So imagine being exposed to a contagion. It's called the source of sin. You eventually will run into something where it'll pop up. It's outside the veil. So inside the veil is heaven, hell, time, the universe, everything, the ethereal realm, everything that's protected. Outside the veil is the source of sin, true darkness. Okay? Now, the Reaper can watch all of this. So he's always watching man, whether we die and he coming to scoop us up, because we have free will. The free will allows the contagion, it allows us to move through the contagion unmolested, if you will. But we have to pray for strength, right? We pray for guidance. We pray to be better than we are. Because imagine knowing that you've been exposed to a contagion. And the only way to get through this contagion is to pray to the one true source. So in the flux continuum, when you turn on the divinity, God, you turn on the source of life. It's like basically committing suicide. It's the equivalent of that. You turned on all of life, the source that grants everything within existence. You turned on it. So it's the equivalent of suicide. You turned on yourself, right? You able to actually get past your mental blocks and everything, which keeps us from jumping off cliffs and all that, you're able to mentally overpower that and commit suicide. So it's kind of like that. The one true source, and we're God's favorite because we, by doing the stuff that we do, I don't want to go through murder and killing and all of that, but man is able to, if enough of us can be good. So originally I mentioned, if we all think the same thing, we manifest the same thing. Think about what I said earlier. We have to manifest. So 98% of us on this planet, if we all come together, we can manifest something. That means all of us have to be in unison, and we have to project, all of us at the same time. We have to project. So if all of us were screaming for God, so let's go with the rapture. When the rapture happens, we all are going to do a lot of screaming. What are we missing when we start screaming in the rapture? Well, God already took those he favors with him. He already took them. We don't have those with us, so nothing, we won't be able to manifest. The core people, the good people, the goodness in this life, not the people who think they're good, not the people who think they're doing right, the ones that God decides and say, hey, you did what I wanted you to do. Even me. Even though I think that this is what I'm supposed to do, flux and all that, maybe I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But if I was, I would be one of those people taken away. They are the core source for us. So with those people here on earth with us, the people who are going to get taken in the rapture, if they are with us and we think the way they think, we can manifest protection. That's what's supposed to happen in the flux continuum. That's why we're so favored. Remember, we're the weakest beings, but technically we're the strongest because we just have to work together. That's all it's about. So as we work together, the Reaper is always watching to see what's going on. And as he's watching the universe, that he's able to see other things that happen too. So he's watching the universe and he can see the same way that they say the big S, Superman can see, right? He sees everything. He can see. I know they do the X-ray vision and all of that for us, but in one comic book, I think he gave Lois Lane his abilities for 24 hours or something. And she said, oh, this is how you see. So he can see everything simultaneously. He can see through the building, but he can still see the framework of the building. Not only can he see that, he can probably see the bug that's on the other side of the building. The point is, he can see all of this in aspect. So that's how we're kind of supposed to be. We're supposed to be able to manifest anything we need. We're God's most favorite because we have the ability if we follow the rules he gave us. So you're going to see a lot of that. Remember, I said I have a lot of biblical connotations in the Bible, correction. I have a lot of biblical connotations in the flux continuum. So there are things that happen to biblical, I want to say icons, biblical people. There was some stuff that happened, and I say during this time, this what happened to this character. So this character went on to be like a dark matter anti-god or something. You feel what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the Reaper can see all of this stuff happening. So I don't want to tell you guys who actually does it because you'll find out later in the story. But these entities that they're talking about that's able to crack the barriers between dimensions, that's quantum quartz. So the stuff that Intech has on his the bands he has, imagine them being bigger than the planet. He has a little thin sliver. Something about this, right? He has a little thin sliver of quantum quartz that's able to do all types of things on an earthly level. But when it comes to blocking a full dimension, we have boundaries, almost like a grid square. So we have all these invisible lines, if you will, that protect this dimension from this dimension. And that's quantum quartz. That's what I came up with, that protects each dimension from flowing into each other. Now, the bad guys, the entities, I might as well tell you, but I'm not, they're able to focus their will enough, because see, they're stranded somewhere. They're able to focus their will enough to crack the quantum quartz. You gotta understand how powerful these guys are. Okay, that's why I said that my heroes, they aren't as powerful as the people that they're fighting. Remember, we're talking about the lords of order and the lords of chaos. They're greater than on the earthly level. So we have to go down to an earthly level so that we can relate, and that's where the Zodiac Guardians come from. We can relate with a guy strong enough to pick up a building. We haven't seen it, you know what I mean? But we've watched it on TV, so we can grasp that. What you can't grasp is somebody snatching a whole universe away. I know Marvel supposed to did it with the Phoenix and everything, but that's still in comics. But until somebody can show us the proper way how you destroy the whole solar system or you destroy the whole universe, right? That changes the dynamics on how we can perceive things after that. So as of right now, though, we can see somebody picking up a building. That's why we still working with the Zodiac Guardians, and they lead us to see all these different things. Another caveat: when you start off, it might appear that the Guardians are winning and stuff, but that's only because here we go again. Back to what happened with the Reaper. He's watching these entities crack this dimension. There's a sentient dimension, an entire universe unto itself. And this universe is going to get out of its containment, if you will. Remember, we live in this realm, right, that resonates at 432 ohms, right? But we can get to the end of the border and quantum quartz will stop us. So we're contained too. There's a sentient being, okay, called entropy. Entropy. That's who these entities end up freeing. They crack the quantum quartz. So this entity unto itself was trapped. It had consumed everything within its entire dimension and it's just stuck there. It didn't need to eat, it just used to eat, right? So it's there, it's stuck. And then these entities crack the quantum quartz. Now, entropy can see the light coming from another source. So he's on his way to find out what's in the light. And that's pretty much what happened with the Reaper, right? He was looking at what was going around. He watched a group of powerful immortals, not true immortals, powerful immortals. Remember, a true immortal can't be contained by death. It would try to take all of the horsemen to contain an entity of that power set. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes real good sense to me. Oh, you guys are looking at me. My bad, y'all. My bad. I'm stuck looking at the other one, and I kind of just had you guys still stuck with me. Okay. Anyway, that's what's happening when it comes to the Reaper watching them. So let me read this little part. It says, a group of powerful immortals have assembled to manipulate universal events. What they do in their realm is going to cause a chain reaction that causes other things in the universe to do what they do. And I'll do a lot of explaining like that when we come to a point where, especially when we get to the Capricorn. When we get to the Capricorn, because I mean, I was really excited the other night. I had one of my partners over and my wife, and I was explaining to them what's going to happen with the Capricorn. They were just looking at me like, what's wrong with him, man? It's so dope. It's so dope. Anyway, okay, so a group of powerful immortals have assembled to manipulate universal events. They have discovered how to force their will on the physical realm. Now, every entity doesn't resonate the way we resonate physically. Some entities resonate like in light. Some resonate as demons. Depend on what your frequency is, depends on how you resonate. So there's a physical realm, and then there's a spiritual realm. There's also otherworldly type realms. There are things outside of resonating physically. With united intentions, these entities channel their power and cause irrevocable chaos in the physical world. I still don't want to tell you guys because you guys don't know what's happening yet, and this gets more to it. What I just spoke about right here when it says it channels their power and cause irrevocable, come on, Willie, irrevocable chaos in the physical world. That irrevocable chaos that happens, book one. Then there's a lot of stuff that happens in book two. So what I'm referencing right there, this irrevocable chaos, is what's going to cause everything that happens in book one and two. I know you guys know that in clip one, there was a accident, right? When the probe came back, right? Something caused all that to happen. That's what we're reading now. So I told you what was going on to bring you in with the humans, and then I explained to you what's behind the intention and everything behind, and that's what this is right here. With united intentions, these entities channel their power and cause irrevocable chaos in the physical world. Together, they are capable of breaching the quantum quartz that separates dimensions by targeting an intersecting point within the crystalline substance. So we can pass and phase right through quantum quartz, right? Or it could be solid. It just depends on what is blocking, right? What is manifested right there to do. So they're able to remember these entities, these immortals, not true immortals, but these immortals are able to look at quantum quartz in a solid way. This is how powerful they are. They're able to look at it in a solid way and see the crystalline infrastructure inside it, and that's what they concentrate on, and they put their will into it, and then they cause that crack that I'm talking about. Yeah, because they exert enough force to crack the barrier. Their attack resonates in dimension SU01Q.00 entropy. You're going to learn that that's entropy, a place that no longer bears light. The immortals smile amongst themselves. They're happy with what they did. They have given the darkness, entropy, a chance at freedom. The attack will afford an omniversal star to shine through the cracks, showing the darkness the way back to the light. I mentioned that earlier. You see what I'm saying? Hey, look, y'all, this is just clip two. We have about 40-some clips to go just for book one. And then we got like another 40, almost 50 for book two. So I want you guys to understand the dedication that was put into, the research that was put, how I grasped everything and put it all together into this one epic story. I mean, I eat it up. I eat it up. All right. So all immortals desire to once again reach a place long denied to them. All immortals. If you guys didn't hear me earlier when it said something about how all the immortals were washed away. I mentioned that, right? They were washed away, but they all want to get back to where? You guys happen to know because I'm explaining it. They talking about paradise. Earth is the greatest planet that has ever existed. It is the only planet in all of existence that's teeming. When we say teeming, we mean teeming with life. We have micro life. We have life on life on life. We have bugs that have many bugs that live on them. We have fish. I want to call it the remora fish that connects to sharks. And we have life on life on life. We have life, and then we have people who get sick, and that bacteria, that's life. That virus, that's another type of life. All of these things exist only here on this type of planet. So we're teeming with life. And then I mentioned right here, says they are known throughout so all immortals desire to once again reach a place long denied to them, a planet that has been granted to lesser sentient beings wielding free will. So even though we wield free will, we don't listen. We don't listen. We pretty much think we know it, or what's been exposed to us is good enough, but we've been given a set of rules, okay? Generally, you find them in the Bible, right? It's a set of rules. It said basic instructions before leaving Earth. So all we have to do is go read the Bible and do what we're supposed to, and then we'll learn, because God always says that it's all about love, right? I mean, that's what the Bible teaches us, about everybody coming together, making sure everybody spread the word of Jesus Christ to everybody. We're supposed to spread love. And in that love, we all come together, and guess what we do? We manifest something. And once we know that what we can do, we start doing it even more. We make our planet greater. I don't know if we're gonna soar the stars, but maybe the reason that we're not allowed to do some of the stuff, I know you guys watch Lucy, right? Scarlett Johansson, and she was in a movie called Lucy, where she was able to unlock the potential of our brain. They say we only use 10%, somewhere close to it, most like 7 to 8%. But if we were able to use 50% of our brains, we could probably fly and stuff. Well, the reason we can't do that because we don't listen. Yeah, right. We got a set of rules, but we still ain't listening, right? It's crazy, right? Okay, so anyway, so it said the planet that's been granted to lesser sentient beings wielding free will. That's us. That's man. They are known throughout the universe. So what I'm letting you guys know, that everybody knows about us. Like, there are entities out there that are jealous of us, and we ain't even did nothing to them. Everybody knows that we're the most favored. Like, they hate on us. They hating on us. Well, it's bad enough we hating on each other, but we got all of these demons. And I mean, we got angels too. They hating. How is it that they get to bathe in God's light or the divinity's light, and yet they still jealous of us? Why? Because we're the most favored. It says it. Okay, and then I say, they are known throughout the universe as, a species which is most favored in all exist. During the great flood of Earth, immortals, these ain't true immortals, immortals were removed from the planet. A barrier of dimensions was put in place to keep immortals from entering the earthly realm again. Clip 2. Now, if this was a comic book, we probably wouldn't have told the story this way. I probably would have had the Reaper like in the shadows or something. It depends on whoever the script, because I can't script write. I can't script write something I've already written. Maybe I can go back and maybe give advice about some certain things. We'll go, hey, this, but me writing it myself, I already wrote the story. So in my mind, that's kind of how I see it. I would need a script writer to come and say, some of this stuff we don't really need. We can always put this later. Yeah, but I'm not writing this story. I'm writing the big story. I want you to see everything. And then when you probably get a book and a half, let's say maybe you're in book 3, maybe halfway through, some of the stuff I said in book 1 and 2, it'll be like, pow. That's kind of how I write. So I want you to start piecing things together. And I know I give a lot of information, like with the Lords of Chaos and all that, but ultimately it's like, where else are you going with it? I keep talking about these bad guys, right? And I can't do it today, but I mean, I've spoken about them. I tell you who the avatars are, or the harbingers, right? The people who come with this bad word, like, hey, these are the things that's getting ready to happen. They have information. So we looking at those guys, but at the same time, I want you guys to know not how deep, but the research that was done, how in depth the story is. There's story on story on story within the Flux Continuum. I actually believe one book could be like a full season, and we don't really get to people flying and stuff until the end of book 1. That's when you finally know that there's superheroes coming. Other than that, you're learning all of this stuff that's happening throughout the universe that's gonna affect us. Book 2, we get back to Earth. We showing you what happened with all those people who got into it, after the probe. What happened? So you'll find that out in book 1, but you'll start seeing the repercussions and how it affected everybody in book 2. In book 3, I reveal who the real bad guys are, and I think you're gonna really find out in book 2. But I think in book 3, I break it down for you, and I let you know, like, hey, basically these are the Lords of Chaos. They lost the first battle. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, again, like I said, a lot of biblical connotations in the book. We already know what happened, the story of Lucifer, right? We know he's in the book because I keep talking about him, but we know he got cast down. So when he was cast down, again, man probably didn't need to know everything that happened on an earthly realm, right? On an ethereal realm, on a heavenly realm. We don't need to know all that. But we do know that there was somebody who tried to set us up, an entity or whatever, that don't like us and tried to set us up, and they were cast down. But it tells you that that his army was cast down with him. Yeah, we got to talk about that. There's a lot of them, bro. There's a lot of them. Like the way I look at things, and there's some things that I want to blow your mind the way I think. So when you guys finally get to it, it makes sense what I'm saying or what I'm writing, but at the same time, it's like most people probably wouldn't even sit up and think it. But again, that was clip 2, y'all. What's today? Friday. Today's Friday. All right, tomorrow we will be. Oh, you guys are gonna love tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be long. Yeah, we might be 2 hours on tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about the innumerable. The innumerable. Imagine a life form coming here to Earth, and for every one of us, it's 1 million of them. So the 5 billion of us, I can't do the math. It's too much. But you guys got a lot of work to do. You gotta, bruh, you don't get to leave until you ain't killed 1 million of them. You ain't did nothing. You ain't even put a dent in until you killed 1 million of them. So we got a lot that's gonna happen. And the story's gonna start getting juicy, but I wanted you guys to know, one, what started everything, okay? And it gives you a little insight. I'm like, hey, where'd the probe come from, right? Using your brain. Something blew the probe up. We need to find out what that is. Then he jumps to the Reaper. Well, I want you to know the scale of individuals that are going to be in this story. Like, I'm talking about the Horsemen of Apocalypse. Yes, they're going to be in the story. Like, when I say that this is a battle for the universe, it's a battle for the universe. Like, everybody's fighting. There are people that I'm still introducing in book 5. The Forgiven. I can't wait till y'all guys get to the Forgiven. After everybody was cast down, there was so many that were still allowed to stay. They're considered the Forgiven. Why are they forgiven? You guys don't know, but I do. That's what I'm saying. That's how deep it is, man. The story is epic. And I need you guys to help me push this epic story. Like, we got to get this out, man. We got to get this out. Even just some of the philosophy and some of the, the things that are, that, I mean, the mind it's basically a new form of creation, if you will. We got us. We're pretty much a structured society, and we kind of think like that. No. I want something different. I want something that makes you go, wow. So again, that's what Flux is about. That's about it, y'all. Again, I don't want to keep y'all too long. I just want to, make sure you guys understand, the work that was put in it. Hell, my wife even gave up her job to come help us sell this stuff. Okay, she sees the potential in it. I got people that always hit me with, caveats and attaboys. Like, they got a friend here. I mean, a friend here that does this. Well, then y'all got those friends. Y'all connect this to those friends and let those friends get a piece of this so that we can go ahead and make something great, right? And yes, I mean, I get to live great if this becomes great. But, I mean, I put a lot of work into it. It's 13 years. I retired from the military in 2012 officially. But I stopped working January 2011. So that's when I was diagnosed with my near-death experience, cancer. And that's when I started, maybe like a weekend, because once you go to a couple of these, and you have to go every day, especially when you first start. So once I went through a couple of these, what do you call them? These appointments, it was just you sitting there for hours. They telling you to come in so they can stick you again or whatever they're gonna do, violating you. And while they were doing that, I needed something to keep my mind. And that's how I started. So I said, hey, let me take my laptop. And then I started. And originally, and I still got the book, right? I still have it. It's about 40 pages. And I started the story off, and I was talking about, everything that I had to go through. Most people tell you, hey, you need to testify and all this, So again, like I said, we're structured to think a certain way. And I started writing what I was enduring. Again, I wanted to be, a motivational speaker and let everybody know you can overcome. Nah, that stuff got depressing. The stuff I was going through, and then, I would have to read over, because you have to read over whatever you write several times, but it was so depressing. I was like, okay, I got to do something about this. And then that's how Flux began. That's how Flux started. And I had to sci-fi it up. I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, let me do it right. So, I started meditating on it, spent some time, in deep thought, because I didn't want to just, hey, I'm going to say this, but it's no pun intended. Deadpool. He's a guy with cancer, right? I didn't want a guy with cancer and then I'm telling, no. So I had to think, when I say in depth, if you take a look at the story, the avatars, or let's say the harbingers, the zodiac guardians, they're like medicine. They're all the medicine that I was given to get better. That's why we follow them. They're the ones that's going to lead us through cancer. So when I tell you it's an epic tale, I took the story of my body. I made my body the universe. There are things that's poking and prodding. There's the darkness coming. Entropy was basically when they found the cancer. And it was in a process where it hadn't got to my lymph nodes yet, but it was on the way. So it was breaking. That was that crack that we talked about today. The crack that the entities, and then again, I'm a God-fearing man. So I'm not saying I'm as great as Job, but I kind of looked at it like that. I mean, when I got out the military, I had $180,000 job a year. I was an IT guy, right? And I was pretty good at it. I could read code, right? In Notepad. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Your boot up, what do you call it? Your boot out of it. It's been a while. My boot file, all of that. It was just, it was crazy. But I was taken from that job, and then I was immersed in trying to survive. And I was writing, and I looked back on my life and I said, I've been a six-figure guy twice. Well, I had an option to be a six-figure guy twice. And both of those were taken from me. Ultimately, was it something I probably did? I'm sure it was. They told me I ingested it. So, I mean, I've been to war a couple of times. I remember being in some places that technically you can't really talk about. But I was around oil fields, so maybe, I don't know, I was there for a year, so maybe, all of that got in my system or whatever. But they told me I ingested it. So whether it was on my food or whether I breathed it in or whatever, I ingested it. So I'm not really blaming myself for that, but I am saying that there are things that happen. I would probably be making about maybe $400,000 or $500,000 a year now. But again, God, and remember we was talking about Job, right? God, I just look at it like God took me off that path, and maybe that path was going to lead me into a dead end or something. And then I was put on this other path, which was Flux. And I've been doing it the whole time. So that's a little something about me, giving you guys a little something. Make sure you check the store. Come out, support. Remember, we got $5 stickers. I will get this this book uploaded to the digital platform. So, you guys too, you wish to have it for your own, then you can go and make sure you download it and whatnot. And help me out, right? I will add some more stuff maybe in a couple of days, probably like after Saturday. I might add in like some posters, maybe some tumblers, T-shirts or something, okay? And that way, you guys, you'll have more choices, right? More merch that you can purchase. That brings me to the end of this show. I do have a bundle, $55 for all 3 books. You guys might want to check that out. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for attending, everybody who showed up. For you guys that's on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and IG, I can't see your comments. So I will go back and check, and I will answer accordingly if I see that, okay? Again, thank everybody for coming out. It's appreciated. Thank you. Y'all have a good day. See you tomorrow. That's right, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Later, y'all. Look at that. I don't know how to turn this thing off, man. End show.